Welcome back to the Blazing Overture. Today we are talking about Dexter, A New Blood, and it's the revitalized season. I guess if that's what you want to call it. Bringing Dexter back to us and trying to fix that lousy ending that happened when the series ended a while ago there.
Yeah. Big Dexter fan. Love that series. Love the original series. They almost could do no wrong except for that ending. The ending was much discussed amongst people, and virtually everybody kind of hated that ending. So they're back to do another season to try and rectify the wrongs that they did with that. And
and they got the original kind of director from the first, I believe it was about 4 seasons of Dexter, that Clyde Phillips, right?
Yeah.
So getting him back, and I personally think from the original series, those first 4 seasons were really, really good. And to me, that, it kind of, if they would have ended Dexter originally after 5 seasons, I might have been okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, instead of kind of carrying on for as long as they did, because I felt the seasons kind of got weaker as they went along. But that was my opinion on it. The last one was the weakest one, of course, right? So
I honestly didn't think the last season was weak. Just the last episode was weak. The last season wasn't that bad. They had a couple of seasons that were weaker. I can't remember which ones they were off the top of my head. If it was like 4 and 6 or something like that. But overall, the series was pretty strong.
For sure.
But because they had some great characters that they brought in, and obviously some of it carried forward and had repercussions into this series, like with Trinity Killer. So they're bringing this basically whatever time elapsed in real time is basically what elapsed here. Well, approximately 10 years or so, and we have Dexter living, under a different assumed name, Jim Lindsay, and what was the name of the I can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head. Actually.
Iron Lake, I believe it was Iron Lake. Yes. I believe,
and he's just working at a at a place probably where he shouldn't be, where there's weapons, but he's just making a living there quietly, and one of the town folk, and until he makes the mistake of giving into his urges.
And where so he originally, at the end of the series, he moved across the country, if I was correct, right?
He was in Oregon.
He moved somewhere, Oregon. Yeah, that's
he
right.
Was, so he was a lumberjack. He ended off as a lumberjack in Oregon.
Yeah, that's right. So he moved back to the East Coast, then back to kind of, what is it, upper state New York, right? Iron Lake.
I can't remember which state it was, but it's farther north. And
so you're right. Small town, kind of middle of nowhere, trying to blend in, I guess, is the best word for Dexter, right?
Yep.
Or Jim Lindsay, and lo and behold, he's dating the sheriff.
Yeah, one of the
chief
odds.
of police or whatever. And interesting dynamic there. She seems to be a pretty smart cop, right? And I mean, you're right. Dexter gives into his urges after all these years, but I mean, some of the good points of this story, I did love Deb taking over, Jennifer Carpenter taking over as the kind of his dark passenger
instead of Harry.
Being
it's not the dark passenger, being the voice of reason, basically.
I really like that. I mean, Jennifer Carpenter was a strong component to the original Dexter series, right? So only fitting to have her is kind of that voice of reason.
It was really the only fit technically going forward too, because James Remar couldn't really play that. How is his ghost going to age like that? And just his role kind of did play out by the end of the original series, so it made sense to bring on something new. He gives in to his urge to kill again, and unfortunately kills the son of another serial killer.
And very, very typical. Hey?
And then on top of that, he has his son coming back from South America in search of him, looking for his dad, long lost dad. He doesn't believe that his dad's dead, and thinks he's tracked him down. And Dexter eventually gives in and lets him know that he's his dad. And so the all the monkey wrenches that could be kind of thrown in are thrown in to provide us with this season. And overall, they did a good job of it. I thought that the way the characters were fleshed out and the story arc was pretty good. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. I was really excited about this series. And what they wanted to do was stick the landing at the end again and make up for the original series. And that's where for me the wheels fall off. It wasn't a horrible ending. I didn't hate it per se, but I sure as hell didn't love it.
So it, we had what, 8 episodes or 10 episodes here? Is that how many it was? So where did you see it going off the rails? Like what?
Just if you're going to kill off Dexter, if you're going to do that, and that's what you want to do, and I knew that that's kind of what they were going to do. I just had that feeling because there's no talk of a season 2. There was just a one-time thing, a limited series. I just wanted it to be a little bit more meaningful. Yes, he kind of sacrificed himself for his son in a way, but I would have rather seen him literally sacrifice himself for his son to save his son or something along those lines to give him a little bit more of a heroic arc, even though he is he's a serial killer. How heroic can he be? But at the same time, and the overall, the backlash again was people weren't happy with this ending. I think people were okay with him dying. They just wanted our character that we loved to be go out with a little bit more of a, I won't say respect. It was very respectful what he did. He did it for his son, but it would have been a little more heroically.
Well, so there's a few things, like if we're kind of talking about it. P.S. We have lots of spoilers in this part, so if you haven't seen Dexter, check it out. Turn us off, or then turn us back on, right? So, but yeah, like some of the things that I take away from the show that I liked, I guess. I liked Clancy Brown as the bad guy, the serial killer.
He was awesome,
and he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And if anyone recognizes him, he was the head screw in Shawshank Redemption, right? Remember him? So yeah. So
he was also in Mandalorian season 1 there.
That's right. Yeah, he plays a good bad guy.
Oh, he's an awesome character actor. He's great at what he does.
Yeah. So for me, that part was really well done. As far as I liked his angle for being his serial killer, the runaways, and figuring that all out in the end and what he did, and I like the idea of stuffing them or like basically mummifying or wax museum like style.
Yeah, it was very twisted. It made the character that much more twisted. I love that. I wasn't expecting that.
Fantastic.
I should have saw that coming. I didn't see it coming, but that was a great twist.
Oh, I just thought it was amazing. I'm like, well, this guy's dark. I'm like, you thought he was a little bit something was wrong with him, but it was good. And to me, that was like, okay, all right, you got a great bad guy. Got a great bad guy. Dexter's going to get him, and here we go. And so I guess for me, I was always waiting, in a sense, to Dexter to be the good guy again. You know what I mean? Because we have, how many seasons where, I'm not saying serial killing's right, but Dexter was always eliminating the bad guy out of the show. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, he's doing service to the world. He's getting rid of the bad guys. But then, when he has that little flashback, when his son is saying, think of all the people you've hurt, and all those little flashbacks of all those people that died. I was like,
the so-called, well, for the most part, fairly innocent people have still died because of him.
Yeah. And you think about it, then there's no alternative in the end. And I figured there's no other way for him to go out other than to die. And you and I have talked about that. And maybe it seems fitting that his son is the one that put him down, I don't know. Maybe it would have been better. Maybe I would have liked it better if his ex-girlfriend, the sheriff, put him down. I don't know. I'm still.
Yeah, where do you go with it now? That because his son kills his father.
Yeah.
That's all kinds of messed up still, no matter what, no matter the reason behind it. Are they thinking long term? Are they going to have another spin-off? Are they going to have Harrison become this vigilante now?
Like did you like him as his acting? Did you like his character?
You know, I throughout the series, I kind of was something felt off. Something felt a little weird about it. But as he went farther and farther on, I thought he played the character really well. I thought he really emoted all the things that this kid would if he's that messed up. And I think he actually pulled it off spectacularly, because at the start it just felt like he was a very wooden character, wooden actor, but it wasn't that. He played the character really well. I thought he did a really good job.
Oh yeah, kind of like being abandoned, possibly remembering his mom in the bathtub and being killed by the Trinity killer, and having these demons, you know, within himself, right? His own, I guess you'd say, dark passenger. And it's gonna mess a guy up, obviously. But yeah, I know I thought like some of those turning points where wrestling, he breaks that kid's arm. I was like, oh man, you know, like
which direction were they going to go? Because they kind of left it open to interpretation yet. Like, was he going to be this twisted, you know, monster kind of thing? And I think they obviously purposely did that to just kind of sway you away from where they were ultimately leading, which was good. Don't get me wrong. Like it was really, I thought this series was actually really well done. I just had issue with just the very end again.
Well, yeah, I know. And I guess there's a couple of points that I didn't like about the series. And Michael C. Hall was brilliant again as Dexter / Jim Lindsay. I mean, he's a fantastic actor. So, I mean, you sell me on him as Dexter, but some things I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that he just seemed really sloppy. You know, he was like doing things that I didn't like that.
Yeah, I think we discussed at the beginning that Dexter really wasn't Dexter-like till towards the end of the series. And even then, like you said, he's very sloppy, but 10 years without killing and in a routine, I guess you would be off your game a little bit.
Yeah. It's like it felt like he was just making rookie mistakes. And I'm like, how do you make these rookie mistakes when you've killed like what? Hundreds. 400 people? Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I guess maybe that's what happens. That's how you get caught eventually, I guess, right?
Yeah, and that's
you make one mistake.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going to go with it. Like, that's kind of, you know, he made mistakes this time around, and it made sense that if he hadn't done this for 10 years, that there was tons of room for error, and he made lots of mistakes, and that was one of the things that at the beginning I was like, this isn't very Dexter like this show. Like, it just because he was very precise. It was just like in the original series when he did stuff, it was just like, man, he's like just so on, and you were into it. Like when he pulled off the kills and how is he going to get away with it? He was always on his game, and now he's off his game. And I think maybe that threw me a little bit too. But like I said, it was still so well done, and in the end, it made sense. They did a great job of fleshing out the story and how it was going to go and why it went that way. But just forever gonna be pissed about the ending.
Well, and like I said, I don't know how you go about it. Like, I don't know. And do you, as the police chief or as the sheriff there, do you let him go? Do you let Harrison go? I mean, I guess she's kidding because she doesn't know that he was with Dexter in the shipping cargo underneath the container and all that. And she doesn't know the discussions. So you're right. He's gone. He's free. Could, and I guess that leads to the other question. Could that kid, Harrison, hold his own show? And my first take on it is no way. I just don't think you could have another show.
I don't think. I think you can have a spinoff, but I think they'd end up having a different person play him like 10 years down the road, older.
Maybe.
I think you can still have the character. I don't know if you'd have that particular actor in because you're gonna have to have somebody who's a little more seasoned. It's gonna have to be farther down the road. And maybe 10 years down the road, that actor would be able to pull it off. And right now, I think it's something you'd look at farther down the road as an older Harrison. It wouldn't be now because he's a kid. He's maybe he follows in his dad's footsteps or something similar. Maybe he becomes a cop. It's the family business. Who knows what's going to happen there?
But then, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you think of Hollywood or all that, is it just going to be another retread of a show? Or do you go into respinning Dexter again, casting a new person and doing it over? You know what I mean?
You don't
But I mean,
touch it.
I think, yeah, I don't think you do either. But like, I just think shows like this, it's a little bit unique. I mean, it's based off novels, of course, and those novels go a little sideways with like supernatural stuff and a little weird stuff. But I think with the Dexter show, I don't know if you can redo it. I don't know if you can like having a spin-off. To me, I just think it's one of those shows. It's one, it's done, and it's over. You know,
I'm assuming that's
I
what
don't
it's
know.
going to be, and I think that's for the best. But if they do it in the future, like I think they can pull it off. I think it's just it's not a complete retread. I think you do different things with the character.
Yeah,
Obviously Harrison isn't needing to kill necessarily, as far as we can tell yet, but
yeah,
he 100% knows that you don't kill innocent people, obviously, and
yeah.
that was his big issue. That's why he had to turn on his dad. And
And it's more vigilanteism if Harrison's character is involved,
yeah,
right?
and that's basically what it'd
Versus
be
the
like. It's so
yeah.
can they pull something off? Yeah. Do they need to? No. If they do it, it can be done right,
Mhm.
but it's not something we need. um Dexter was the reason we watched. That
Yeah,
was the
that's right.
reason I was, when this was announced, I was super excited about it. I had that feeling that I knew what they were going to do with it, and it was
Hmm.
pretty much kind of a foregone conclusion that's what they would do with it. But
Oh
like I
yeah,
said, it just, to make everybody happy in a situation like that. Like I know for a fact it's not an easy task. It's a daunting task to try and keep a fan base
yeah,
happy, and they, for the most part, obviously weren't able to. People were overwhelmingly not happy with the ending, but was it better than the last ending? I think so.
yeah.
They did right the ship a little bit, but it wasn't what, as a super fan, if you want to call me that, as Dexter, that's not what I'd wanted, but it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Like I think with any show, and I think we've talked about this in other series, how do you get from the start to the ending and make it cohesive, make it good, and then finish it, right?
That's Hollywood's problem right
We
now.
all yeah, I mean,
You,
we all left at the end of the original Dexter series pissed off. And we're like, that was brutal. And so then you forget about Dexter and you're like, God, I hated it. And it comes up in conversation, and all you have is negative thoughts about the last episode. So for me going into this, I was like, okay, just fix it for me, right? And actually, I didn't mind what they did, but I mean, maybe I was a little disappointed because I know this is a finality, right? He's dead, Dexter's gone, it's over. So for me, it's kind of like I guess I'm disappointed on that, to know that our character that we watched that we liked is gone, and that's the end of the story. There's no way you can fix that. You know, before, when at least the old one is like, well, you know what, he's a lumberjack, he's out there. You know, maybe he's still doing stuff. I don't know, but now it's like it's over,
yeah.
and you know, to me, I guess maybe that's where I'm disappointed in just a different way than you are about, you know, about the end of the show.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I'm in the same boat. I would have loved to have seen more seasons of Dexter, obviously, like, as a fan.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's over. It's put. It's finale. There's no coming back. Um,
Well, yeah,
then that's like, we're kind of discussing like a minute ago, that Hollywood's problem is, you get these shows that take off and get good ratings, and they want to milk them for all that they can. If they
hmm,
really truly want to have a great show and a great series, they need to flesh out these stories ahead of time and know where they're going with it and how they're going to end it, so they can get to an end point. I know it's a
yeah,
lot
I
of times you
agree.
can't do that because the ratings wane. Oh, how are we going to get to season 5 when we're season 3 and the ratings are in the tank or something? But you really have to have a game plan for a lot of these shows to make them work and to make them feel right and to satisfy the fan base. Because when you don't do it
Yeah.
that way, you get messes that happen in a lot of these shows. And how many finales of shows are actually good?
Well, that's exactly it. And kind of sounds like this is a podcast we should be talking about, maybe, you know, sometime. But
No, we'll flesh this one out one of
yeah,
these days. We'll talk about this, and
yeah,
we
exactly.
could talk about this for an hour.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But overall, I like this. I like this series better. I like this ending for Dexter better than the original one. So, I mean, to me, I'd give it I mean, it's worth a watch. It's worth to see him in action again. And, like I said, I just kept hoping, even though he was sloppy throughout the whole season here, I was really hoping he was going to turn the corner and get away again. It's just kind of my wishful thinking, but I knew the inevitable was going to happen, right?
Yeah, I agree. The season actually was really well done. It's absolutely worth watching. As a Dexter fan, you will be left wanting a little bit more, but the ending is definitely an upgrade from the original, even though like we didn't get what we wanted. But overall, this was a really well done season.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Put something down in the comments in the chat. Let us know if you thought Dexter was a complete waste of time or was worth a watch, and what kind of ending would you have liked to see finish up the series and the finality of Dexter himself.